Used to be if you killed a man, you sent his wife flowers. Now they just send his wife with him.
There are things out there. You can't be doing this. You're gonna get yourselves hurt.
No, I have already been hurt by those bastards.
Or Murdock's. We get hit a lot.
Matt, he's a rich dickhead who thinks he can pay people off to kiss his ass.
Maybe it isn't only about justice, Matt. Maybe it's about you having an excuse to hit someone. Maybe you just can't stop yourself.
I don't want to stop.
You touch your daughter again, and I will know what Whiskey did to me. You'll do to you.
Daredevil is one of the most influential superhero TV shows of all time. To this day, it's still praised as one of the best. I know I use that word a lot. This is the best movie, this is the best anime, but I really want to get my point across and say that I think that currently, the original Daredevil TV show stands as one of Marvel's best. It's reached highs that no other TV show has reached, and it's one of the many shows that survived cancellation. It's been more than a decade since it came out, and it's still regarded as one of the best. Let me tell you what I think makes a great story. If you're making a project, in this case a TV show, and you're giving it your 100%, then I'm fully invested. I have to literally love everything about it. The characters, the cinematography, the score, the lighting, the actors, the themes. Everything is supposed to help elevate the script and the emotions of the scenes. It doesn't have to have a billion metaphors and 1,000 hidden meanings. It doesn't need to be a philosophical study of the real world, although I wouldn't mind some of that. It just has to feel authentic and real. It has to tell a good story, and most of all, it has to inspire me to become a better storyteller. Daredevil Season 1 is one of those amazing cases where I love everything about it. The first episode is a perfect example of why this show works. From start to finish, it perfectly tells you the ride you're getting on. We're introduced to Matt Murdock, a lawyer starting a legal firm with his partner Foggy Nelson. While Matt pursues justice for the victims, Foggy pursues the money. Either way, they're still good men. Suddenly, we're introduced to Karen Page, who's apparently having a rough day.
Drop the knife! No! Drop it! I didn't do this! I didn't do this! Get on the ground! I didn't do this! Now!
I didn't do this! Oh, no. I didn't do this!
Matt and Foggy step in as her lawyers. She tells them that she worked as a secretary in Union Allied, when suddenly, she was accidentally sent a file of illegal money funds, which is why they attempted to kill her. But previous to that, the reason why she woke up covered in blood and with a body in her apartment was because they tried to frame her. And while this is happening, we see gangster meetings in between. From the very beginning, we can tell that this show is different. It's a lot more character focused, more genre focused, and overall, it's fucking cool and well written. Eventually, Karen goes back to the apartment to retrieve the file. Suddenly, she's attacked by the same guy who threatened the bodyguard's daughter. Matt then comes out of nowhere and saves Karen. He attempts to deliver the file to the police, but she tells him that they're all corrupted.
You can't trust anyone!
Then we tell everyone.
We then see that as a gesture of gratitude, Karen joins the legal firm, and suddenly we have this badass montage. It's a perfect demonstration of what this show is. After releasing the Union Allied scandal, Matt starts hitting the bag. Although he saved Karen, there's still more people to hunt down. His punches become increasingly more fast and calculated. We start seeing the bigger picture that Matt's training for. People illegally transferring money funds, men disposing their workers after they failed their jobs, disabled people working on drugs. There's no line they haven't crossed. The Yakuza, the triads, the gangsters, they're all the peak of New York's corruption. Matt will eventually stop them one by one, but the only prayer he can answer right now is one from a child. A child seeing his father being beaten before being taken away. It's a terrifying yet awesome montage. The score by John Paisiano is so exciting and thrilling. They don't just show the anger Matt holds inside. They show the horrible things he hears night by night. They show what's to expect in the next episodes. And it's just such a perfect and amazing start to this show. I know that's like the one thing superhero media is criticized for, especially Marvel. But goddamn, I can't understate how incredible the writing is. Fun fact, although I adore the main characters in this show, the ones I'm mostly interested in watching are the side characters and the subplots. Do you know how fucking terrifying Fisk's assistant is? He is a cold-hearted sociopath. He's professional when he needs to be. He's relatable outside of work. And mother of fuck is he intimidating. We never really get to truly see Wesley as a person, because he'll never let you see him. He knows exactly what to say. The only person who will see him, the only person Wesley shows a sense of humanity to, is Fisk. He has nothing but respect and loyalty towards Fisk. He never questions him, and he knows what's best for him. They're not just partners, they're brothers. I don't mean to get ahead of myself, but one of the best episodes in Season 3 is an episode entirely dedicated to Karen. Fisk isn't a side character, but man, he's one of my all-time favorite villains. He steals the goddamn show. He's a man who's not just financially powerful, but physically too. Although typically Kingpin can be calm and restrained, he has a huge temper problem, which is so entertaining to watch. Whenever he gets mad, he's irrational, and he uses simplistic vocabulary. He literally has tantrums. I love that iconic scene after the Russian makes a scene in the restaurant, where Wesley and the others make sure to bring him to a car under a bridge. And then suddenly, Fisk beats the ever-loving fuck out of him, and he tells him,
You embarrassed me in front of her.
He slams his head against a car door until he's completely decapitated, all because he was embarrassed in front of his girl. And now he's pinning the murder on Matt, which could cause a war. Which reminds me, one of the things I truly love and miss from the Netflix shows is how they handled corruption. They did it in a way that kept you on the edge of your seat. I don't think I've ever seen a show that causes me this much anxiety. Don't get me wrong, Breaking Bad does it great, but man, Daredevil just hits different. Think of it like this. While the Russians are preparing themselves to take down Matt and Fisk, a Chinese guy appears out of nowhere and blows himself up, alongside with the Russians. Matt then finds Vladimir, the guy he's been looking for, or as I like to call him, Vladimir. Huh? Get it? 'Cause he's a whore. Suddenly, the cops appear and arrest them both. And at the last second, Matt realizes that they're both bought by Fisk. So he takes them out and takes Vladimir to an abandoned warehouse. As he's fixing his wounds and tries to stop the bleeding, Vladimir screams alert a cop. Matt then fights the curious cop, and he realizes that he's not bought by Fisk. He's just a rookie. As Matt tells him to call off the other cops, the rookie yells for backup. Now, he has a Russian mobster and a fucking cop hostage, while New York thinks that he blew the hell out of Hell's Kitchen. Why would they think that? Because they saw the footage of him beating the corrupted cops. And now Kingpin has a sniper killing the reporters outside, which he then pins on Matt. Holy shit! And most of this shit happened in one episode. The entire show is like this. Not a single episode is boring or slow. It's constantly moving. Every episode is essential to the plot. The characters are layered and complex. Every decision feels natural. These people feel human. And that's when you know you have a good fucking show. Another scene that comes to mind for me is a scene with Detective Hoffman. Hoffman and Blake are as corrupted as it gets. They're cold, they're dicks, and they murder people as easily as swatting a fly. But they're brothers, and they both work for Fisk. Once you work for Fisk, any mistake you make can cost you dearly. And Detective Blake not only confirmed Fisk's name to Matt, but didn't inform him that the addresses of the Russians had been compromised. Hoffman vouches for Blake, and he explains to him that it's not easy to make him go away. They're not just partners, they're friends. They've known each other since they were kids. But Fisk asks him something diabolical.
How much are each of those years worth to you? In round figures.
35 years worth of a friendship, thrown in one sentence. When it comes to Fisk, there's no negotiation. He either threatens you, bribes you, or kills you. Either way, you were fucked the minute you crossed his path. And they repeat this over and over again. The reporters, the cops, the jurors, the judges, the lawyers, there's not a single person he hasn't corrupted. You can't trust anyone in this show. Again, I haven't seen a show that causes me this much anxiety. I'm not one to give a shit about fight scenes or action. It's an add-on, but it's not a necessity for me. Hell, one of my favorite video games barely has any fighting in it. But man, Daredevil does them damn well. The most iconic scene in the show is the hallway fight, which happens to be a reference to Oldboy. Philip J. Silvera, Chris Brewstar, and the rest of the crew did a fantastic job. It's a beautiful fight scene that's entirely in one shot, and it also started a tradition for Daredevil to fight in one-shots every season. Another thing that makes it stand out is that Daredevil gets hit a lot. He's not an indestructible force of nature. He bleeds and bruises with each punch landed. He gets out of breath, and at the time that was seen as a breath of fresh air, and now it seems like stories are following that path. I need to clarify something. There's been this stupid trend in shows and movies where they think that a TVMA rating equals bigger dick energy, and I'm tired of it. Do you remember the marketing for Echo and Daredevil Born Again? Hell, do you remember the marketing for Marvel Zombies? Half of it was just the actors and the marketing team telling people that it's more violent than ever, as if that were the main concern with the soft reboot. No, the priority was never how violent the original show was. It was how they handled their broken nature. What I think justifies violence in a story is the weight of the characters' decisions, the meaning behind them. I like an R rating, but if you're gonna have a bloodbath, at least give me a good reason why it's there. Anyways, yeah, I just wanted to get that out of the way. Like I mentioned, one of the things I love about this show is the side characters. And one of the characters that I think that people don't talk about enough the most is Vanessa. Sure, now they're talking about her, but even back then, I always thought she was an extremely layered and scary character. There's this one scene that terrifies me, and it's just her describing a painting.
Imagine a sea of tonal reds, the color of anger, of rage, but also the color of the heart, of love, hope. This strikes the perfect balance between the two.
There's a hidden rage clawing inside her, which is why she's never afraid of Fisk. They both share the same philosophies. She has more than a few skeletons in her closet. She just needed an excuse. One of the best episodes, fuck, all the episodes are the best at this point. One of my favorites is Kingpin's backstory. The triads and the gangsters feel like Kingpin has gone too soft ever since he met Vanessa. He's been emotional, reckless, and unpredictable according to them. They grow less and less tolerant of his behavior. In one of Kingpin's tantrums, Wesley asks Vanessa to come over. He tells her that he's afraid of her reaction of his true nature. Nonetheless, she stays by his side. When he was a boy, he and his mother faced the cruel abuse of his father, a disastrous, repulsive father. Until eventually, Fisk had enough and he beated his father to death with a hammer. He was protecting his mother. Vanessa is shocked, and yet not only does she stay by his side, but she spends the night with him. They're genuinely in love. She knows his true nature. She's seen it before. And she's not just okay with it, she encourages it. Whenever Fisk sees himself in the mirror, he sees that terrified boy. But now Vanessa's there to block that view. In other words, they're two broken people who had the misfortune of meeting at the right place and at the right time. Good for them, bad for everybody else. And Fisk is being punished for this by the criminal world. Is it such a crime to be human? I absolutely adore this episode. Fun fact, I wrote a script that's incredibly inspired by this episode. It's an episode that mainly focuses on, yeah, you guessed it, Matt and Foggy. Matt in the previous episode arrived half dead into his apartment, and Foggy had the misfortune of finding him there. And throughout the whole episode, we're going back and forth on the nature of their friendship. It's an episode that goes from past to present to past to present. We see the highest and the lowest points of their friendship. And the conflict here is, will things ever stay the same after this? It's an absolutely brilliant and mature episode. There's some Fisk and Karen stuff sprinkled in between, but it's mainly focused on these two, and it's so well done. I'm not one to typically care about acting. I think that a good performance is just the bare minimum when it comes to a story. But dear God, every time I see Matt cry, something breaks in me. It's so real and adult. It just further proves how much the writers and the storytellers care about these characters. Shit, how much I care about them. My favorite episodes in superhero media consist of a musical, a breakup, and a fucking episode about a dress. Action is important to me, but it doesn't mean anything if I don't care about these characters. In the end, no matter how much Matt tries to explain himself, Foggy can't forgive the lies. He feels like he never knew his best friend.
But I don't. I only never needed my friend. I wouldn't have kept this from you, Matt. Not from you.
You don't know that. You don't know that.
Yeah. I do.
Alongside the last episode in Season 3, this is one of my favorite episodes in the whole show. Nelson and Murdock are divided. Ben, Elena, and so many others are dead and buried. And Fisk is known in the public as a philanthropist who just wants the best for his city. Fisk won, right? Foggy finds Matt hitting the bag. Although Foggy won't forgive Matt, they still put their differences aside to take down Fisk. While investigating, Matt overhears Hoffman's name spoken by corrupt cops. He's being held at a warehouse by Leland, and he could testify against Fisk. Eventually, after saving Hoffman, he's finally able to testify, with Nelson and Murdock representing him. For the first time ever, they finally have names. They have evidence backing them up. They can finally take this son of a bitch down. And this time he doesn't have anyone backing him up. The Triads, the Russians, even Owsley abandoned him. The Kingpin is dead and buried. Not even Vanessa can save him. And while being sent to prison, he recalls a story from the Bible. A traveler was going from Jerusalem to Jericho, when suddenly, men of ill intent beat him and stripped him of what he had. A priest and a Levite saw him bleeding in the dirt, but they never helped him, until a good Samaritan saw him. He tended his wounds and helped him, simply because he was his neighbor. Fisk always saw himself as the Samaritan, but he's not. He's not the priest or the Levite. He finally acknowledges that he was the men of ill intent. The transport stops and men with guns get out of the rest of the trucks. There's a massive shootout on the bridge just to retrieve Fisk. It doesn't matter how many times they arrest him, how many times you testify against him. In the end, he's beyond the law, beyond men, beyond God. I love these shots where Fisk appears taller than the men surrounding him. I don't know if this was done on purpose, but it really adds to how people are literally inferior to him. They transport Fisk from one truck to another. Once again, he's gonna get away with it. But not this time. Matt flips over the truck, and he appears with the red suit. Kingpin has finally exhausted his resources, and they're finally face to face. Throughout the whole show, Matt and Fisk barely have any screen time together. Don't get me wrong, they're always in each other's heads, but we rarely get to see them in the same room. Fisk makes it impossible for Matt to get there. He scrubs any evidence left of him. He's had people killed, bribed, threatened. They end up just working for him one way or another. He's blown and demolished buildings. He's torn families apart. Everyone would rather die than give out his name. It's not loyalty, it's fear. But finally, the man without fear finds him, and he stops him. And in that very night, the devil of Hell's Kitchen was branded Daredevil. In the end, Kingpin stares into the wall similar to the one of his childhood, and Matt keeps doing what he does. He answers prayers. I love everything about this show. It's a fun and thrilling season. It shows the best antagonists since the Joker and Gus Fring. It showed how cool and underrated Daredevil was as a character. And overall, it's just an exceptional show. It mixes genres so well. It's a combination of martial arts, a crime drama, and a thriller. At times, I swear I forget that I'm watching a superhero show. Those are my favorite types of TV shows, the ones that are outside of their genre. Breaking Bad, Attack on Titan, and Daredevil are all from different genres, but they all expand from their genres to tell a dramatic and compelling story. I aspire to make a show as good as this one, and in my opinion, Netflix hasn't topped Daredevil ever since. To me, this is what superhero shows should be, a deep focus on the characters and the world surrounding them. It's an amazing season. However, the next season is not what I expected.